Hi, fellow traders. What's happening? I hope you guys had a great day today. My day actually turned out a lot better than I anticipated at 9:15 this morning. Basically, I did not have a watch list. There was nothing on earnings to watch. I didn't really have any good analysts upgrades or downgrades. Plus, the market was selling off. And I was just going to wait and say, okay, let's wait. Let's see what direction the market is going. And then I could look at some technical setups. But other than that, I didn't really do much. So, kind of a surprising day. We're going to talk more about that here in a minute. But first, I want to share this thought with you. It's a pretty in-depth thought. It was so in-depth that I did write a blog about it. But a couple of days, a member sent me an email that had a post that said a trader can't force a trade any more than a surfer can force a wave to come together. Great surfers wait. They recognize patterns. When they see the perfect wave coming, they put themselves in the best position to catch it. If you think about it, that's exactly what we traders do. So it's pretty much a three-step process that we go through. As traders, and what the surfers go through. First is preparation. As a surfer prepares to go out into the ocean, preparation is taking place. They got to make sure they have their gear together, that's in good shape. They observe the rhythm of the ocean. Some, they check atmospheric conditions because that kind of gives them an idea how the waves are going to be that day. And as they're waiting out, they also take note of the waves as they're paddling through. Now, of course, waves are inconsistent. We know if you've been in the beach and you've been waiting for waves, like I'm the boogie board king. I'm still a boogie board king. We went to the beach a month or so ago, still a boogie board king. Kids can't ride the waves in like I can. And it just dawned on me when I saw that, is that, hey, just like a surfer, I'm looking at the rhythm of the waves. I'm looking at where certain waves are breaking, which ones that are building up that are probably going to break around where I'm at, or I try to put myself in those positions. So surfers are doing the same thing. They take note of the waves. The timing of when to attack a wave is critical. They're preparing mentally as well because they need to have this incredible focus, because they're waiting so long. They have to stay focused. So it sounds familiar, right? As a trader, our preparation begins in the morning with our routine. We're making sure all of our tools are working correctly that we use in trading, and that we're prepared for the next steps. We observe the market. We're watching the price action very closely, trying to get a feel for the pulse and rhythm of the market. Pretty much what I do every morning, what I talk about, what we did this morning. As we scan through these sea of stocks, we're taking note of how they are responding to the market. We're sifting through, getting a feel for the day. We're preparing our mind on how we're going to attack the market that day. So we will need to focus. We will need that focus to work through our day. Preparation puts us in the best possible position to catch trades. That's what preparation does. Everything is set so that we can be in the right place at the right time to catch these trades. The same way a surfer is trying to catch the waves. So patience. We hear that a lot. So to quote a professional surfer, Naxo Gonzalez, there's some sessions, he says, there's some sessions where you can be in the water for 6 hours, but only get one wave, or if you're lucky, 3 waves. You have to calculate perfectly the waves you can get and not make any mistakes, because your life is at stake. You have to be patient and not panic. You're waiting for hours for one wave, and then you get 30 seconds of crazy wave, crazy fast. The intensity of that 30 seconds is worth it for all of us. One wave can make your trip, make your career. It is the highlight of the year. The feeling, that adrenaline, that's why I travel around the world. So think about it. That closely explains our cycle of trading. Sometimes we're waiting a long time for a setup to materialize. We must perfectly calculate the key levels for our trade. Our stop trigger, our entry trigger, our profit targets, all of that has to be perfect and on point for us to maximize the efficiency of a trade. A mistake will not cost us our physical life in this, but it can cost us our trading life. We could wipe ourselves out, and that would be it. So if we're not getting an entry trigger, we shouldn't just panic and start making hasty decisions and start looking around and say, I got to take a trade. We just be patient. When our trade comes and it works to perfection, that feeling we get is inexplicable. And that's what keeps us coming back for more. But in between those great trades, we must stay consistent with our approach and keep our emotions in check. And that will take patience as well as discipline. We must be patient and disciplined. We cannot let our emotions take over our brains, or we will likely end up making the worst trading choices that we can make. And we don't want to do that. We want to be, we want to be even keel. Okay, and step 3 is the pivot. And it is not what you're thinking when you first hear pivot in trading. Now, if you watch a surfer, you'll sometimes observe as they prepare to ride a wave, it seems at the right moment they make a decisive pivot or turn. The decision is to pivot and either duck under the wave if the timing isn't right and let it go by and move on to the next one, or kick with the wave back toward the shore while physically pivoting on the board and trying to catch a wave. And if it's a good wave, they continue to pivot throughout and during the ride so they could get the most out of it. They're constantly reading, feeling, and assessing the situation. So it seems like the more they pivot, small pivots, the longer they stay up. And but for a lot of times, if the surfer doesn't pivot when they're supposed to, it could be a catastrophic wipeout. Same thing for traders. Trading has its uncertainties as well, just like those waves. But those uncertainties, like the rip curl of a wave, are best navigated by making the right pivot. A rip curl is the leading edge of a breaking wave, and it can cause a nasty wipeout if you aren't ready. The collapse of that wave can be brutal. I don't know if anybody has been wiped out by a wave before. When the surf is really strong, man, it can knock the breath out of you. But a rip curl is what creates the mouth of a barrel or the tube. I don't know if you've ever seen surfers surfing inside of a wave. It's like they're coming out of the wave. That's the rip curl, and it collapses as it goes. So if you don't pivot right, you can get caught in the collapse. Bam, You know, a great surfer will pivot to ride the tube, inside the tube if they can. Whereas others that don't pivot will wipe out, experiencing that hellified force of that collapsing wave. We often find ourselves at these decisive rip curls in our trading, a point where we must decide which way to pivot with the stock, whether to pass on it and let it blow by us or ride with it. It's also critical that we're able to read the price action. That's why I harp on that so much. We need to be able to read it well enough to know when to reverse pivot and potentially bail out of the trade if we see that it's losing energy, or continue to pivot with the stock and ride it to the finish line. You know, every challenge in trading is like that rip curl. How we pivot can make the difference in our trading results. You know, but in the end, we must be prepared. Choose what it is you need to do. Be patient. Know when the timing is right to seize the wave or that trading opportunity in front of you. Take pivots. Realize every opportunity comes with a few challenges, but you have to learn to pivot. Adjust as you need to, and if you do, you will find success in the trading journey. All right, I can guarantee you that. I'm living proof of it. All right, so let's take a look at today real quick, and then we'll look at our trade, and we'll be done. Just what we thought today. What could happen? Gap down below the 5-day. What did I say we were gonna do? Test the ascending support and potentially the 100-day moving average. We tested the 100-day moving average. We closed above it. Tomorrow, we could definitely see another gap down and start making our way to this 425. Right now, this is a really, really weak candle. I don't see the bulls pulling out of this, but it's possible. But reading the technicals, reading the price action, unless something major happens in that can, you know, excite the market, I think we're continuing to come in. But that's what we're looking at for tomorrow. But you see a solid red candle, just a tiny wick where we tested the 100-day. Other than that, this was a really, really weak day today. So my trades, we had a really, really good trade this morning. We were trading. All right, MU was the. I'm gonna make this big. MU was the earnings trade that we were looking at. It didn't trigger an entry for me. Remember, earnings trades, basically we traded like the 5-minute opening range. There's the low, and here's the high. So it didn't take out any of this. Was trading inside of it. There's no trades for me. All right, so we're gonna move on to the trade of the day, which was SQ. I'm actually still in it. Still waiting on this thing. But let's take a look at this opening range trade here. Here is the opening range, well, the pre-market low. Okay, this is the pre-market low right here. So we got in when we took out the pre-market low. We didn't wait for the 5-minute opening range, which is right here. That's the 5-minute opening range low. right there. So we were a little aggressive this morning, trying to catch the early momentum on this. We started washing out, and we took out the pre-market low. First target right here actually happened to be the opening range low, 5-minute opening range low, and then we just systematically took profit until I hit my final target. And this was my final target right here. Then we got a little bounce, and we put in a bottom of a little channel here. Let me extend this out a little bit. Put in the bottom of this little channel here. Sorry about that, guys. Put in the bottom of this channel, and once we broke it, I got back in it. We were pretty much inside of 10 o'clock, or right at 10 o'clock. So I only took 200 shares. Okay, I'm sizing down because we've got this huge move. We may get ripped back up. You don't know. So I went in with smaller size, got the first target, which was this next level down here, and hit our second target, but did not get to the third target on this. Let me extend this out. Didn't get to the third target on this. All right. So I waited, and it came back. So we closed below this bottom of this channel here. So as soon as we confirmed it, that's when I got in, and it actually bounced again. So the channel just kind of got really tight. As you could see, we sold off, we bounced right here. So this is kind of another product of me thinking that I'm going to be able to sit here and watch this, and it's so boring, my eyes closed. The stop should have been, once we claimed all of this. Here we made a higher low. So once we made a higher high, after we made this higher low, the trend is out. I mean, we are trading inside of this channel. And even if I didn't take it off here, if I was waiting for it to break out of the channel, then here is where it took out the channel. But I am still in this a little bit. Just kind of waiting to see if we get this sell after the close. Typically, this thing does sell off a little bit after the close. See what we can get. I don't have to take this off until 8 o'clock tonight, as long as it kind of hangs around and we kind of bleed a little bit. But we'll be waiting for that. This was, if this trade worked, I'm pretty sure I would have, made the $1,000 mark. I'm not gonna look at the P&L. I'm fighting the urge to look at it right now. I don't want to see it, because knowing what it is could make me make some bad decisions here. I know me. I know my limitations. I can't track the P&L. It's just too bad for me. So I'm just going to wait, let this play out, bail out of this before the time is up, and we move on. Good thing I like about TD Ameritrade, I can trade until 8 o'clock. And if I was trading the SPY or the Qs or whatever, I could trade all night. And I have done that before. But, it's not a common thing. But I do have till 8 o'clock. And oftentimes these things do wash out and turn around and give us a pretty good trade. So we'll see what happens. But that's going to wrap it up. I hope you guys have a great day tomorrow. Enjoy your night. Be safe. And let's get back at it in the morning.